iBrand News at this hour. Nigerian records 54 cases of UK variant of COVID-19. The US authorities say the wife of jailed Mexican Lord Joaquin El Chapo Guzman has been arrested. Scientists raise concerns as climate change threatens Nigerian food supply. Many thanks for joining us on News Now. And here are the stories making headlines. I am Margaret Opara. Nigerian Center for Disease Control (NCDC) says Nigeria has now 54 cases of United Kingdom variant of the COVID-19 virus. The NCDC Director General, Dr. Chikwe Igrazu, made this known during a briefing held by the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 in Abuja. Igrazu said the 54 cases were discovered between November and February. He noted NCDC is watching the strain to understand how much it is circulating in Nigeria. And in more stories, the first batch of the 4 million AstraZeneca vaccines is set to arrive in Nigeria. The CEO of the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, Dr. SHEIKH, disclosed this via a social media statement. Dr. SHEIKH said purchase orders have been raised by UNICEF's supply division for the AstraZeneca vaccines. Moving on, in spite of the criticism from some Nigerians, the Senate on Tuesday confirmed the nomination of the immediate past service chiefs as non-career ambassadors. The Senate Minority Leader bbnaija Abaribe questions the nomination and confirmations of the ex-service chiefs when the Senate had on 3 different occasions called for their sack. Senator Abaribe also questioned why the petitions against the former service chiefs were dismissed without explanations. The Senate President Ahmad Lawan, however, dismissed Senator Abaribe's concerns, ruling that the nomination of the former service chiefs cannot be notified simply because the upper chamber had called for their sack. And in more stories, the Islamic cleric Sheikh Ahmad GUMI has warned Boko Haram would soon infiltrate the Fulani killer herders. GUMI, who has in recent times been engaging in peace negotiations, said the Fulani herders feel their existence is being threatened. And according to GUMI, this explains why the herders cross borders defend their kinsmen each time they are attacked. Meanwhile, Plateau State Governor Solomon Lalong says implementing the National Livestock Plan scheme is the best way to curb current farmer herder crisis. The NLTP scheme proposed by Audu Ogbe, former Minister of Agriculture in 2018, was adopted by the National Economic Council (NEC), headed by Vice President Yemi Osibanjo. The plan was to run the scheme between 2019 and 2028, but some states rejected it on the grounds that they do not have the land for the scheme. And according to Governor Lalong, if the plan was well implemented, the country would not have experienced the present crisis. And on the Africa scene, 3 students were injured in Cameroon's southwest region after a stampede broke out following a rumored COVID-19 vaccination campaign. The students from the city of Kumba were currently being observed by medics. The injuries were recorded in the wake of a stampede as many struggled to escape the rumored COVID-19 vaccination campaign. Moving on to the foreign scene, the U.S. authorities say the wife of jailed Mexican Lord Joaquin El Chapo Guzman has been arrested. Emma Coronel Alspiro, who is 31, was arrested on suspicion of drug trafficking, was detained at Dulles International Airport outside Washington, D.C. And she is charged with participating in a conspiracy to distribute cocaine, heroin, and marijuana. Up next is business. The UK's employment rose to 5.1% in the 3 months to December, a 5-year high. The official figures released by Office for National Statistics, 1.74 million people were unemployed in the October to December period, up to 454,000 from the same quarter in 2019. The figures show 726,000 fewer people are currently in payroll employment than before the start of the pandemic. Almost 3/5 of this 425,000 has come from those aged under 25. And in more stories, Brent oil jumped to $67 a barrel, with Tuesday investment banks and traders predicting the market will tighten further and push prices higher. Futures in New York jumped 1.6% on Tuesday after climbing more than 4% in the previous session. The market is heading towards that could be the tightest quarter since at least 2000. Moving further, the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation (NNPC) has extended until June its contract with private companies to swap crude oil fuels. The latest extension is the second extension of the one-year contract to exchange more than 300,000 barrels per day of crude oil with 15 company parents. NNPC spokesman Dr. Kenny Obateru said the DSDP was extended till June 2021 to enable the ongoing conclusion process of putting new contracts in place. And also the Niger Delta Power Holding Company (NDPHC), statutorily owned by the federal, state and local governments, is set to fully take advantage of the eligible customer framework. This arrangement will help cutting off the distribution companies due to poor infrastructure and supplying power directly to selected consumers. The company also signed a power purchase agreement to sell 70 megawatts of electricity to Togo. Executive Director Generation of the company, Kasim Abdullahi, however, assured consumers the development will improve power supply. And more stories: agricultural scientists have said that stockpiling and trade restrictions by countries producing major food grains could lead to intercontinental food shortage, hunger and malnutrition for food import-dependent countries. Affirming the possibility of the food crisis, a grain breeder and Vice-Chancellor of Al-Qalam University, Professor Shehu Gaki Ado, said the COVID-19 pandemic, locust infestation, drought and labor shortage are factors responsible for food supply chains disruptions. He noted the effects of the factors are more pronounced in food import countries without food reserves. And that's all we can take on news now on iBrandTV. For more news stories, visit our website, follow all our social media handles, subscribe to our YouTube channel, like, drop a comment for us on the comment section. I am Margaret Obara. See you next time.